Good evening, everyone. It's another Sunday evening, wherever it is that you are. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. It's evening where I am, and it's time to connect. All right, so I want to welcome everybody joining us on our different platforms Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. And it's great to have everybody join us today. It's amazing. It's another Sunday. It's the 2nd of October, and we're having a very special episode today. We will be celebrating or looking into Nigeria, my country of nationality. We'll be looking into Nigeria at 62. So wherever it is that you are, please do send me a comment. Let me know where you're joining me from. If you're outside of Nigeria, please do indicate. And good evening, good evening to everybody. And right, simple goodness. All right, so we're going to be taking this very soon, but if you go ahead, one word to describe the view of the field, whatever it is that is that's what the something gets it, there is something that I want you to get it, because indulge me, all right, just indulge me in hearing that I can be heard clearly. Is that the case with everyone? Please, if you can hear me clearly, please go ahead and let me know. Okay, so all right, so we're going to be starting up very soon. Like I said, in one word, to describe Nigeria? Just type in the comment section with one word that best describes Nigeria, your Nigeria, the way that you experience Nigeria, your Nigerian story. One word that captures everything that you feel about Nigeria. One word. Remember, your feeling is not necessarily the old what you're going to write in your feeling to also speak to what you desire to see of your nation. Your feeling to also speak to what you have seen in time past of your nation. Bottom line is speak one word that will best describe, or let me put it this way, one word that describes your ideal Nigeria. And then I trust that this episode will put some clarity to it, even as we go forward to an election year. So a big shout out to everybody that has been. I trust that your week has been great. I trust that you've had an amazing week thus far. I had last week was good. It was amazing. It was busy. It was very productive. Extremely fruitful, and I was really glad to come into the weekend. All right then. Is everybody moving? So some people will be wondering why are we starting off the national anthem? Well, because it's not how old Nigeria is. It's really about how well Nigeria is doing. It's not again. It's not just about how old Nigeria is. The question is how well is Nigeria doing? How well is Nigeria doing? Okay, so can I be heard clearly? Seems like we're having a because I'm getting some feedback. It seems like we're having a bit of a audio issue. I want to know that I can be heard very all right. So we'll take okay. So if you can hear me, please do indicate. Do indicate in the chat then. Let me know that I can be heard. And then we will make this. It's not going to be a very lengthy episode. It's going to be a very lengthy episode, but there's some really important insights we need to share with everybody in this podcast. Okay, so are we ready? So we go ahead. So we proceed. All right. Okay, so I was talking about Nigeria being, there was a bit of, people had very different, very different views about it. But there's some hearing that noise is there, but that's also, okay, I believe I'm back. Can I be heard clearly? If you can hear me clearly now, go ahead and indicate, and then we'll be starting off real soon. All right, so we're talking about Nigeria at 62. Interesting, very interesting. Nigeria at 62. Yesterday was Nigeria's Independence Day, and there was, different views on Nigeria and how far Nigeria has come. And much more than that, for me, it's not about the numerical figure that attests to the age of the country when it gained independence, but rather to how well Nigeria has fared. And it's not just how well Nigeria has fared or how Nigeria is doing, it's Nigeria has fared vis a vis Nigeria's resources, vis a vis Nigeria's potential. because you can't measure a thing unless you have a benchmark by which you're measuring it. We're having an anniversary episode. These were the things that informed this special independence episode celebrating Nigeria 62. Now, why is this a special independence episode? Because or why is this episode so important? In my consideration, I'm taking into fact that Nigeria is stepping into an election year. This is a pre-election year, and then we're going into an election year. There will be elections in the first quarter of next year, 2023, where we'll be swearing in or voting and bringing in governments, all sorts of governments across board. All right, all sorts of government across board. So I asked for one word to describe Nigeria. Someone tells me resilient. Interesting. Resilient. And now, if you will, please go ahead and share why you think your experience of Nigeria speaks to being resilient. All right. So I was saying that we're going into an election year, and so many things are going to happen. A lot of people have come up and put themselves and come through a process and put themselves up for election to be voted. There are many people that desire, all right, desire to be at the helm of leadership in this country, whether it's at the state level or at the national level, or whether it's in the legislature, whatever it is. There are people that are vying for political offices right now, political elective offices right now. And there are many that have come out. You have the third force. And this on the Connect today, I mean, I'm not going to be shying away. I'm not going to be keeping words and no. You have the APC, you have the PDP, you have the Labour Party, you have all other parties. And each of these parties that have come through different processes of their primaries have thrown forward candidates, not just aspirants, but now candidates that are vying for different offices. And so there are movements and many beliefs across the states, from the north to the south, from the west to the east. And many people, all right, stay with me, many people are wondering, some already have made up their minds about who to vote for. Some people will vote based on some people will vote based on what's it called now? Some people will vote based on party lines, so that it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter who is coming up for office, as long as the person is coming from my party, I will vote for the person. Some other people have decided that they're not going to vote for party lines. They're going to vote for individuals that represent or speak to their desires, that recognize their pain, that seemingly understand their pain and the things that they're going through, and stand as a beacon of hope. Note these words I'm saying very carefully. Stand as a beacon of hope for the Nigeria that they desire. Whatever your reason is, the truth of the matter is that there are certain things that we must take into consideration, even as we come through. After 62 years, I said earlier, and I don't know if I was heard at that time, I understand there was a bit of audio challenge, but I said earlier that this is not just about Nigeria being at 62. As long as the nation is together and time passes, you will grow older. The question really is not the age of Nigeria. The question really is how well Nigeria is doing when you look at the resources available to Nigeria. How well Nigeria is doing when you look how well the nation like Nigeria is doing when you look at the possibilities and the potentials that the nation has in comparison to where the nation is. And if we don't take certain things into consideration, then we do not really expect, and I say this with all sense of responsibility, that we don't really expect the nation, all right, to change or for things to get better or for things to become, for there to be any kind of significant change. So, what I want to be able to achieve so that you can also understand the flow and the angle that I'm coming from today is nothing new. I want to call your mind or I want to call your being to remembrance. Somebody write that down. I want to call you to remembrance. I want us to critically examine what we should be looking at and what we should be doing, not necessarily as by the way of having your PVC. That's right, you should have your PVC. You should be duly registered to vote, absolutely. But beyond all of that, what will inform what you do going forward with regards to the nation Nigeria? What will shape your thoughts, your belief, and your actions as regards nation Nigeria going forward? All right, is everybody with me? So we're gonna jump on. All right, I want to see if I can bring the overlay up and have your comments jumping up on the screen, so that we can all see everyone's comments together. All right, so thank you one more time for joining us. Those on Facebook, those on LinkedIn, those on YouTube. Thank you very much for joining us. We are about to jump into it right now. One of the things, it was a friend of mine, a dear brother of mine, Mitewi, that said many years ago at some conference that we were together at, that look, everybody, every family has a vision, every organization has a vision, every entity has a vision, and every group has a vision. There's something that you're aspiring. What's the vision statement for Nigeria? You walk into an organization and you see the vision statements on the plaque or hanging on the wall that speaks the directions with the organization, everything that the organization is going to do, where it wants to be able to get to, and where you can, assess it by, and being a benchmark, being something that you look at and you say, okay, this is where this organization is going. What would you say the vision statement of Nigeria is? Anybody know? Anybody? Of Nigeria. So I have been through quite a bit of deep thinking. I've listened to quite a number of people express their thoughts. You get on TV for breakfast shows all across the different network channels, and so many people come up and talk about Nigeria, the things that are going on, the in-between and in-betwixt, the intrigues, the politicking. And there's something that I've always said, all right, before I get into what I really want to share with you about the next 20, 30 minutes or thereabouts. Nigerians are really good at politics. Really good at politics. Our politicians deserve awards for politicking. But a lot of people that are good at politics fail at governance. While politics may be the channel that brings you to the place of governance, or makes a nation great, politics will never, and I stand to be quoted, politics will never make Nigeria great. Good governance will deliver a great country. or a great nation. And so there's so much, all right, so much politicking, so much intriguing, so much this and that, so much talking, so much going on. And you wonder, campaign seasons have kicked off in Nigeria. All right, for those of you that are not in Nigeria and have not been following, let me announce to you that the campaign season in Nigeria has kicked off. And so you're going to hear a lot of talk and a lot of actions and a lot of money's flying up. Yes, I said it. Money's flying up and down, and a lot of what they call consultations and all of that and everything and all the campaign drills and all the mega rallies and people coming together under hot sun and people that should be doing work and working and getting their nation together and delivering and earning an income and paying taxes will be standing in stadiums and the stadia, and everywhere will be filled up, and people will wear all sorts of uniforms and outfits and all of that in the name of politicking. And when you hear all these things, hear me clearly, because I am to a certain degree upset in my spirit. When you hear all this talk, I wonder how much, I want you to pay attention to how much you will hear about governance. I don't want to hear about who's fit or who is not fit. That's a place. I don't want to hear about, oh, our party is the party. No, 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 no. I want to hear about concrete things that speak to governance. So I want to repeat something I partook of a little while ago, something that was done by my big brother and friend and a very close mentor of mine, Fela Durotoye. And there was a prayer chain that we had been holding for a while. That we were holding a prayer chain about twice a day at noon and at midnight for Nigeria. And so today I'm led to draw our attention. Like I said, remember, I'm going to be calling us to remembrance of certain ideals that we should have and hold up to that will now shape what we do. All right. So many times we try to attack the symptoms. No, let's get to the root. Let's speak to the root. Let's speak to the root. I want us to examine. All right, let me see. There's a comment here from Chairman. Chairman says we've been through hell and high waters and is still, but the hope for a change someday has been unwavering and actually is very close. And we're still here today against all odds. Our resilience lies in our ability to overcome the unexpected. Great words, great words. And I share the same sentiments with you, Chiamaka. But beyond that, our hope has to be anchored on something. Faith in itself, hope does not lie on nothing. There must be something that our hope is anchored on. And when our hope is anchored on that thing, then we can appropriately hope and believe and have an unwavering we step forward. What she'll be doing as regards this nation. I want us to look carefully at our, and if we have a bit of time, we'll come to the national pledge. If we have time, we'll go to the second stanza of is what by many we've dubbed our national prayer. But I want us to look at our national anthem. All right. So the national anthem goes thus, and I want us to take each line by line and seek to truly understand it. This is something that we cited and sung growing up in schools, at public events, at government events, and we sing these words without really understanding or paying attention to them. Are you ready? Let's go. So first off is the national anthem, and The first line of the national anthem says, "Arise, O compatriots. Arise, O compatriots." Let's look at that for a few minutes before we go further. Arise, O compatriots. Arise speaks to an upward and in many cases a forward movement. It means that there must be a reason, there must be a thrust, there must be a shift from a place of rest to a place of action. Arise signifies a call to action. A call to action. So the first thing you must understand that you cannot be doing nothing for the nation to be where it is. There must be something that you're doing for the nation to arrive or to get on the journey of getting to where it ought to be. And then here's where something I find very interesting. Arise, O compatriots. Dictionary meaning of compatriots speaks to a people that are citizens of a nation, people that are together in a place. But my own understanding, and if you like it, you can call it the AU definition here. The AU definition of compatriot is a company of patriots. A company of patriots. A patriot, according to it, there were many definitions of a patriot, and I took my time, right? And I'm going to read something to you right now. I took my time to go through some textbook definitions of patriot. Stay with me. Let me read one out to you. All right. Let me read one out to you. It says, a patriot is a person who vigorously supports their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. Let's pause there for a bit. A person who vigorously supports her country or their country and is prepared to defend it against enemies or detractors. So the question is, when you see somebody that vigorously supports their country and is ready to defend it against enemies or detractors, you have to know that that person therefore means the best for the nation, for the country. The person means the best for the country. So the person is not doing what will detract or what will be of enmity to the country. In other words, the person is not an internal enemy to their country. Are you with me? The person will not do anything that will take the country backwards. Are you still with me? The person will not do anything that will take the country backwards. The person will stand for the things that will help the country progress vigorously, believing it. That means they will put their entire vigorously is typifies action, it typifies strength and unwavering commitment to ensuring that the country moves forward. So if you have somebody that isn't doing something that moves the person forward, the person is not a patriot. If you have somebody does something that takes a country backwards, the person cannot be adjudged to be a patriot. If you have somebody that is not committed or not vigorously defending the nation, meaning that you will not sell the nation out or disparage the nation or tear the nation down or destroy the nation or water down the nation or abuse the nation or curse the nation, then that person cannot be a patriot. So let's examine this. All compatriots. The question is, do we even have a company of patriots? Think about it. So the people that you are even calling to arise, are they patriots? So you can begin to understand where our problems come from. And so that as you say these words, you can examine yourself to determine whether you're a patriot or not. And if you're a patriot, you can now also ask yourself how vigorously you're defending the nation. And if you're doing all of that, the next question I will ask you is, what are you doing to influence the people around you to also become patriots? So many times we're calling on people, we're simply just saying, arise, residents of Nigeria. We're simply just saying, arise, those that of arise, O compatriots. In other words, arise, O company of patriots. Where are the patriots? Where company of patriots? Patriots that believe in nation, patriots that are unwavering, that vigorously defend the nation. Patriots stand, are prepared, meaning that no. I can't see. I mean, does corruption build a nation? Does all kinds of illicit behavior build a nation? Does a decadence of values or the lack thereof of values, does it build a nation? So it's not just about you doing for yourself. The definition I gave to you says, and it says very clearly, that are vigorously, that are prepared to defend, meaning that there must be an engagement of those that are not doing the right thing, or what we consider to be the right thing. So, what do you do about the person that breaks traffic lights? What do you do about the person that took a bribe? You look the other way. You're confident. I don't do it. Oh, me, I don't do it. So, because you don't do it, as long as they can do what they're doing, me, I won't do it. The question was vigorously prepared to defend. How much defense do you give, or are you prepared to put forward when people do what is not right? I could spend the whole day talking about just this first line, but please let's go forward. It says, Nigeria's call obey. Ooh. So the question I'll ask here is, before the obedience, what is Nigeria's call? What exactly is this call? What exactly is this call that Nigeria has? To be the greatest nation in the world? Is that the call? To be a place where people are protected and where people have a shot at the best opportunities available to them? Is that the call? Is Nigeria's call to be the most prosperous nation upon the face of the earth? What really is Nigeria's call? Because if you do not know what Nigeria's call is, how then can you appropriately obey Nigeria's call? Think about it. Because, like I said, we have voiced out this, we've said this over and over again. We sing this from primary 1 to primary 6 and JS1 to JSS3. And if you are in a university or you go to an event, you sing the national anthem every time team or any sport team is about to play. The national anthem is played anytime the governor comes to an event. The national anthem is played and all of that. But beyond just singing these words, do you understand it? What is Nigeria's call? What are you obeying? So I want everybody, one of the things that you need to do is you need to seek to understand what Nigeria's call is. But here, listen. It says going further, to serve our fatherland with love, strength, and faith. To serve our fatherland with love, strength, and faith. What is What does it mean to serve? To serve means to give your all in order for a thing to happen. Service requires your giving. Your giving. And he said that it's not just that you have to give with love. You have to give with your strength. In other words, with your might. In other words, with your resources. In other words, with your best. You have to give with your best. You have to give your best to the nation in whatever capacity that you are at. And you have to give it with all right? You have to give it with the faith that your nation, as you give to it, your nation is of priority to you, and that your success as a person is in many ways tied to your country. You must believe that you are such an integral part, not just somebody born or named by this nation, but you're such an integral part of this nation that if you do not attend to the things that have to do with this nation, with love, with strength, and with faith, then like a chain is, which is only as strong as its weakest link, that if you don't play your part, then the nation will fail. To serve with love, with strength, and faith. It goes further to say that the labors of our heroes past, and I want you to note this, that the labors of our heroes past shall never be in vain. So let's examine this for a bit. So, in the history of Nigeria, before the amalgamation and before independence, there were many people, our forefathers and forebearers, that labored to be able to bring this entity, this geographical contraption together, this entity named Nigeria. And they labored for with many ideals that there will be a nation that will be a beacon of hope in the continent of Africa and the world, a nation where the people will indeed be prosperous and people will have the best shots and the best opportunities to become the best version of themselves. A nation that will deliver pride to its people, because a nation is not made up of hills and infrastructures and fountains, and a nation is made up of people, and the nation is in the hearts of every man. And as every man puts forward its very best for the nation moves towards being the best. And so there were people that put their life, their resources, put their comfort, put the things that were you will have considered as perhaps what they should just settle with. They put their convenience, even at that time, on the line to ensure that you and I will have what we call a nation of our own, and then we'll be able to dictate the terms of this nation, blessed under heaven. And as we dictate the terms of this nation, we will rightly owning this nation, rightly adhering to the call of this nation. And we'll talk about the call. Somebody just asked, please, what's our call? You should ask yourself that as well, because we'll talk about the call probably at the end. Rightly adhering to the call of this nation, that the nation will blossom and a nation will grow, because indeed it's a nation that's blessed. Those are the people that were referred to as heroes. And as Fela will say many times, when we speak of the labors of our heroes past, what comes to your mind is the Nnamdi Azikiwes, the Obafemi Awolowos, the Tafawa Balewas, the what have you and what have you. The question that I ask, or that has been asked, and I will join to ask also, is, are you telling me that since the time of our forebearers that they have never been heroes that have been time past? But that's for you to think about. Let's go. Let's push further. It says that the labor of our heroes past shall never be in vain. haven't heard what I just said. The question is, when the next generation comes and the generations thereafter, and your children and grandchildren and your great grandchildren are reciting the national anthem, will they consider you a hero? Would you be considered a hero? Would it be said that you, yes, you, I'm talking to you and myself as well, will it be said that your labor shall indeed never be in vain? That indeed that you have labored for this nation? Will it be said? Will it be said that the things that you did, that you were designed to move this nation forward? Will it be said that you sacrificed for this nation? Will it be said that you served with love, strength, and faith? Will it be said that you were listed among the company of patriots? Will it be said? The labors of our heroes past, the labors of our heroes past shall never be in vain. The heroes labored, the labor made them heroes. And our prayer is that the labors of heroes past shall never be in vain. If we throw ourselves into the future, will what you do be considered as a labor that rightly positions you or classifies you as a hero before we even consider that it will never be in vain? That's one way to look at it. The other way to look at it, and guys, stay with me. And I told you that today was stay with me. The other way to look at it is by your actions today, by the things that you have said and the things that you have done, by your acts of commission and your acts of omission, have you rendered the labors of heroes past to be in vain? Hey. Have you made the labors of the heroes past, of time gone past, have you made them to be in vain? Or have they, the labors of heroes past, have they bore fruit in you? Because the things you do now will determine whether the sacrifices they made way back then was worth it or not. What makes a sacrifice worth it if the result, if the effort is worth the result? Jesus died on the cross for the salvation of humanity. And if humanity is not saved and you choose not to be saved, what you've done, hear me now, is that you've said that your dying on the cross, Master Jesus, is in vain. Because I repeat again, what makes sacrifice worth it is that the outcome delivers what you sacrificed for. And so, whilst you may look at Nigeria as a geographical entity, and you look at the borders and the geographical parameters of Nigeria, and you see that as Nigeria, can I announce to you that Nigeria is you? And so if somebody labored for Nigeria, fought for Nigeria, was assassinated for Nigeria, was jailed for Nigeria, had to go into exile for Nigeria. In other words, what that means, and what I'm really saying to you, is that somebody died for you, somebody was jailed for you, somebody had to be ostracized for you, somebody left their family for you, somebody had to hide for you, somebody had to go run away somewhere for you. All that effort, has it been in vain or not? Think about it. Think about it. The labors of our heroes past shall never be in vain. To serve with heart and might. To serve with heart and might. To serve with heart and might. To serve with from the place of your authenticity. To serve with trueness, with genuine love, and with your might, with your everything. Your everything. The way that you will serve your family, your children, with all that you have. To serve your nation, the way that you will protect your life. To serve with heart and with might. Is that truly your story? It's okay to blame the politicians, and through me too, I am making absolutely no excuses, because I have seen too many that have not served with their heart, too many that have not served with their might. But before I speak to them, I speak to me. And before I speak to them on the outer, I speak to you within. Have you served with heart? And have you served with might? With your might? Have you given everything? Everything for Nigeria? Everything? Have you stood by what is right? Have you obeyed the law at every time and every opportunity? Have you benefited from the proceeds of ill-gotten wealth? Have you rolled on the back of corruption and raised your unholy hands up to thank God for what God has blessed you with? To serve with heart and with might. What do you truly believe about the nation Nigeria? Because it is when you've done all of that, when you've arisen and you've been able to put together a company of patriots, when you've answered the call to give your all, because the call is to serve with love, with strength, and with faith. Nigeria as a nation is calling you to serve from the place of authenticity, the place of your identity, of who you are, to give your all, your commitment, to build, to deliver an advantage to the next generation by the things that you do now, to plant the seeds of greatness in your everyday walk, so that your nation and the generation to come can reap the harvest of what you planted, and then they can sow the seeds from the fruits of the harvest, that of the seeds that you planted, and plant their own seeds, so that the next generation can now take of the fruits of the seed that you have planted with love, with strength, and with faith. When you've done all of that, then we can have a nation that is bound in freedom and has peace and is truly united. Think about it. So before you, and I'll tie this all up, let's go quickly, for my time is far gone. Let's go quickly to the second stanza, and then we will look at the pledge swiftly, and then we'll wrap up for today. And the second stanza is what we call the national prayer. The national prayer. And it says, "Oh God, Oh God of creation. He says, please God, direct our noble cause. This ideal that we're aspiring to, that's our noble cause. To be able to place this nation under you as a nation that you have blessed and committed to be able to till the ground. And you know what? Okay, so we're back. We're back. Wonder what went. We had a bit of network glitch there, but let's get back quickly to where we were at. We're looking at the second stanza, which is our national prayer. And I said, "Oh God of creation," and I want someone to pray with me as we do this. Oh God of creation, direct our noble cause. And I spent a bit of time talking about our noble cause, the ideals that we're striving to. It says, Lord, guide our leaders right. Everybody that we put in the office, in the position, in the capacity, in the space of leadership, guide them right. Help our youth the truth to know. Because what is that truth that they must know? They must know that they are called to serve their fatherland with love, with strength, and with faith. They are called to know the truth that the youth must know is that they have a responsibility to be the heroes that the next generation will pray that their labors will never be in vain. Because some of the things that we are doing right now must be in vain, otherwise the future is destroyed. Like seeds that you have planted, sometimes we have to pray for crop failure because we've planted such bad seeds and such negative seeds that if those seeds grow, this nation is gone. By the things that we have done, the things we've condoned, the things we've stood for, or the things that we've not stood against, or in some really bad states, some things that we've actually come against, which we should actually be standing for. Help the youth, our youth, the truth to know. In love and honesty to grow. How honest are we as a people? I wish I had more time to be able to exegete into that, but please ask yourself a question. How honest are we as a people? How loving are we as a people? Do you really love the next person? Do you see the next person as, first of all, someone from where you're from before you see them as my brother or my sister? Do you first see the person as, oh, it's a Yoruba extraction? It's not even Yoruba, it must be from Ijebu. It's not even Ijebu, it must be from Ijebu Ode. Or do you see the person as my patriot who is in the company of patriots that I belong to, who I must join forces to lock hearts and lock hands to be able to take this nation forward? How honest are we as a people? How loving are we as a people? How loving. When you hear of the things that are happening in a different part of the country, are you concerned? Are you bothered? How bothered are you? Does it touch you? Do you empathize with people? Or you say, well, as long as it's not happening in my neck of the woods, as long as my estate is fine, it doesn't matter what's happening in the next village. It doesn't matter what's happening in the next community. It doesn't matter what's happening in the next geopolitical zone, as long as I am fine. But don't you understand that when you have a company of patriots, if he affects one, he affects everybody. And so together we must come together to be able to ensure that we do what is needed to be done to ensure that nobody is affected. In love and honesty to grow. And living just, fairly, living just and true. Living just and true. That God will help us to live just. That you will not be unfair. Just because you think you have an advantage over the next person, you will not do something. In other words, and the basis of just, of equity, is consideration. How well do you consider the next person? As a Nigerian, as somebody resident in Nigeria, how well do you have consideration for your brother, for your sister? How well do you consider the next person? I know that you desire and have a desire of great lofty heights. We desire to see a nation that is strong, a nation that is safe. It was many years ago that we were told that a great nation is a place where people want to come and work. Is your nation where people want to come and work? A nation where people want to come and school? Is your nation where people want to come and school? A nation where people come to get the best medical care? Do people travel from all over the world to get medical care? When they're looking for medical care, do people think of you? Are you top of the list? A nation where people come for recreation and to rest. Is your nation where people come to when they think of resting? Is your nation where people come to when they think of opportunities to be able to earn a living, to be able to build themselves? Is your nation where people think of when they're coming to, when they're thinking of how to educate themselves and get the best type of schooling and get the best kind of infrastructures that allows them to be able to develop necessary skills, exposures, thinking, molding of character? Is your nation where people think of when they're thinking of where to go for medical tourism or where to get a response to care? Does your nation fit into any of those four quadrants or four boxes? And yet, that's the great lofty height that we want to attain. That's the great lofty height that we desire, to be able to be able to get to. And we can achieve that only when we seek to build a nation where peace and justice. Remember, we just talked about living just and true. When we live just and true, when you and I live just and true, when everybody in every political office live just and true, when in your little corner you live just and true, then because the nation is not the geographical perimeters or boundaries, the nation is not the waterfalls, the nation is not the blue rail line or the airlines or the cities or the villages. The nation is you. And when you live just and true, then we will have a nation that has peace, where peace and justice shall reign. A nation where peace and justice shall reign. May God help us. Because, hear me now, it's not just enough to pray this. It's not just enough, rather, to recite these words. And you've said these words more than 100 times. Think about it. You've said these words that I've broken down and exegeted for you today more than 100 times in the course of your life. You've said these words. You've uttered them, but I dare to say that you've uttered them with minimal or peripheral understanding. You've uttered them without faith or belief. You've uttered them without an insight or illumination as to what those words mean and the actions that shall back the words that have come forth out of your mouth. And so when we pray at the end of it, we say amen, which is so be it. And so we say amen when we say the second stanza, because it's really a national prayer. But let me close on this. There's therefore we as a people must have. And the responsibility that we must have is a commitment that we must make. A commitment that we as a people must make. Is somebody with me? A commitment that we must make. And that commitment is given to us by way of what we call the national pledge. And the national pledge is what? Something that you make. A pledge is a commitment. Okay, so now, sorry for the glitch. I understand we had a bit of. Okay, so now, sorry for the glitch. I understand we had a bit of. Okay, so we're right back now, and we're gonna be wrapping up in a few minutes. But I want you now. Haven't heard all that I've said over the past 1 hour. I want us to now do the part that is our responsibility, where we make a promise, not just to ourselves, we make a promise to the hearing of, we speak to the elements, we make a promise to God, speak to the elements, and speak to our company of patriots, our company of patriots. And we will do that by what we call and what you're used to, which is tagged the National Pledge. Are you ready? I want you to join me to pledge to Nigeria your country. I want you to promise to Nigeria, your country, that from today, the second day of October 2022, that in whatever capacity that you are, wherever it is that you are, I want you to pledge to your country, Nigeria, to be faithful, faithful in all things, to be loyal and honest, to serve this nation with all of your strength, and to defend her unity, and to uphold her honor and glory. And God will help you. Let me take a couple of minutes to explain what you just heard. And if you said it along with me, as I sincerely hope that you did, what you just said. What it means is that you are saying that in all things you will be faithful in every assignment and every task that you have to do, and in every area of responsibility that has been given unto you, that you will be faithful. Because it is a faithful people that deliver a great nation. You'll be faithful in the management of the resources of this nation. You will be faithful in your consideration of your brother and your sister. You will be faithful in what you do by way of your vocation, your initiatives, your profession, or whatever it is that you find your hand to do. Because it is what will help to build a nation where people want to come to work, where people want to come to live, where people want to come to for medical tourism, where people want to come to rest. That you will not only be faithful, but you will be loyal. Meaning that in all that you will do, you will put the consideration of the nation as priority. And the priority is not what you feel good about, it's what you can do without. That means that you cannot do without doing good for this nation. That in everything that you do, you will find how it contributes. That you will never do anything that, though it may benefit you, but will rob this nation or set this nation back. That you will be honest. You will be honest in your dealings and the things that have to do with this nation, and that you will serve this nation with all your strength, all your capacity, your capabilities, your intellect and your wisdom and your everything that you have, with your resources, with your giftings. You will serve this nation, and you will defend the unity of this nation. You will not do anything that will hurt your brother, or you do something that will smite your sister. You will defend and you will speak to the honor and the glory of this nation. You will carry this nation up. And because you are a light, the Bible says that you are the light of the world. And because you will shine your light, this nation will light up. And when you shine your light like a burning candle, you will lean over and ignite the light of another one. And when all the candles that are spread and represented in each and everybody is spread across the length and the breadth of the nation, Nigeria, and everybody's light shines, the nation will light up, and the nation will be the light to the world. And that when you speak of honor to this nation, your voice will be a voice that will be heard and will herald a sense of honor, that people around you will be rightly influenced to speak honorably of this nation, because they will understand that they do not speak of the next man, they speak of themselves. And when you speak of yourself and you're a light and you've influenced the world and you're a voice that can be heard outside of you, you're influencing people. And then that way you will become a nation that is heard across the length of the breadth of the world, and is heard to speak of integrity, is heard to speak of well-being, is heard to speak of innovation, is heard to speak of growth, is heard to speak of faith, is heard to speak of oneness, is heard to speak of unity, is heard to speak of peace, is heard to speak of security, is heard to speak of prosperity, is heard to speak of stability. And then when you extend an hand, or a hand rather, when you expect to extend a hand, You become a bridge, and you serve as a platform that connects even those seemingly don't have what you have. You will pass, you will become an advantage to the people around you and to the next generation, so that they can be an advantage to the people around them and even to the next generation. And then we become a nation that gives advantage to the world. That's how we play our part to deliver a great nation and to be deliver a nation that we all can out of. And let me close with this. I said all of that to get this into your mind. Think upon these things. Everything that I've shared with you, isn't I've taken our national emblems, the national anthem, the first and the second stanza of the national anthem, and I've walked you through our commitment and our promise by way of the national pledge. As you think upon these things, as you ponder upon these things, as you think upon these things, as you ponder upon these things, let it guide who you are. Let it guide who you align with. Let it guide you stand in the line to vote for. Because the future of this nation is in your hand. And what you do between now and the first quarter of next year, when we bring in a new set of government officials into office, will determine if the next generation will consider you a hero of time past, whose labor shall not be in vain, or someone or a villain of time past, whose labor shall fast be forgotten. Let it shape who you give your vote to and what you do and your speech and your utterance about this nation, even as it shapes what you do as a person, understanding that you are the nation. I want to thank everybody that's joined us today and everybody that has come through as we mark the 62nd independence anniversary of our nation, Nigeria. Let us not be unmindful of what our responsibility is as individuals, as citizens, as a company of patriots. So that the next time we gather together and you open up your mouth and herald the song and say, "Arise, O compatriots," understand who it is that you're talking to and make sure that you and everyone around you is listed among the company of patriots. God bless everyone. God bless you. Real good. God bless you on every side. Even as I wish you the best, I wish this nation the best. Never stop praying for our nation, and much more than that, never stop doing your bit for this nation. I'm done. I'm reading all your comments. I thank you all for coming here. Thank you so much, AU. God bless you abundantly. I rise and take ownership of my country and let my light shine through and my voice reverberate across the nation and generations to come. The next best time to set the ball rolling is now. Every moment counts. Delivering a nation we all help to do. So help us God. So help us God.